So we're going to talk about tonight 2 questions. What is apologetics, like specifically, and why is it important? Why do we need it? So let's go into it. So here we have Buzz Lightyear saying, because we need to think a little bit about, first, before we say what it is, it's helpful to say what it is not. Because a lot of people, well, maybe not a lot of people, but some people assume that apologetics or apologists are types of people when they're actually not. So the first thing apologetics is not is we're not apologizing for Christianity. Those words sound very similar, but apologetics comes from the Greek word apologia, which means to defend. It's the same word that we would use to describe a lawyer makes a defense. So this isn't like shying away, help me survive defense. This is, I'm standing my ground, I'm making a case, I'm finding evidence, I'm reasoning, I'm pointing out holes in the opponent's case. This is that type of defense. So that's not what apologetics is. We're not apologizing for Christianity.
I think going off that, you can go to the next one. I think that leads us into this point pretty well, that it is a defense. So it's important to have a good defense, but it's also not about being an argumentative and conflictive person, because we're coming at this with a point of we want to help this person see truth, not just be defensive meatheads about things.
Right. Apologists are not here to, we're not people who love, massive debates between people where we don't love starting massively heated conversations. That's not what we're about. We're about a legitimate, genuine search for truth and trying to figure out what truth is. And that requires cooperation, and sometimes there is a little bit of conflict where you disagree. But that's what apologetics is. It's not a place for conflict. And the last thing that apologetics is it's not, I said this in a really stupid way. I don't know why I wrote it like this. But it's not a contrived way for intelligent people to show off. This isn't it's not a time for boasting. It's not a chance for people who want to show off to get up and spout all these facts and words at other people and show, aha, look at me, I can memorize 20 more facts than you can. Gotcha. That's not what apologetics is about either.
I think going off that, one of the biggest things I've learned through Christi and learning apologetics is how to listen and ask questions. And that's not at all what I thought. So sometimes, Deb and I were just talking about this earlier, it's not always that we have all of the answers, but we know the answers are out there. And sometimes it's just asking a lot of questions and just digging into what a person believes as well.
Yeah. So now we know what it's not. Let's talk about what it is. Man, tough crowd. Oh.
We have notes.
Interesting. We have notes. All right, so we're basing our definition of apologetics on mainly 2 verses from the Bible. One is 1 Peter 3:15, which says, "But in your hearts honor Christ the Lord as holy, always being prepared to make a defense to anyone who asks you for a reason for the hope that is in you, yet do it with gentleness and respect." And so here we see that apologetics, that there's obviously some part of it where we're defending people who ask us for why is the gospel true, the hope that is in us. What is true about the gospel? Why do we care so much about it? Apologetics has that side of it. But importantly, this last clause, yet do it with gentleness and respect. That's something that often is missed by a lot of people who like apologetics, but that's very important, and it's part of that same exact verse. So that's a big part of apologetics.
The second verse that we looked into was 2 Corinthians 10:5, We destroy arguments and every lofty opinion raised against the knowledge of God, and take every thought captive to obey Christ. And this is important because we are seeking truth. So we are trying to destroy arguments. Jay earlier said we're destroying arguments, not people. I think that's a good distinction to make, that we're not trying to put down people, but we do want to make sure that the truth is found, and that just because we're not destroying people, we still want to make sure that we're not giving in to things that are untrue. Yeah.
So now that we know what apologetics is, which is defending Christianity through science, logic, reason, philosophy, by evidence, why do we care about it? Who the heck cares? I forgot to say that. But, so while thinking about this and preparing this, we realized that there's good reasons, definitely for Christians to study apologetics. But there's also a lot of good reasons for non-Christians to study apologetics and be involved in it as well. And so that's how we're going to divide it. So first we got believers. So the first reason that we think that Christians should study apologetics is to answer the question, is Christianity true? If you